Hey guys, and welcome to the 11,000 subscriber Q&A. Before we start, huge thanks to everyone who got this channel to 11,000 subscribers. This channel really is nothing without you guys. I really appreciate it. Now, let's get on to the questions. From Skywalker Academy. Wow, congrats on almost 11,000. What made you want to do YouTube in the first place? Honestly, it started out as just kind of a place where my buddy and I, when we started Concordia Jedi, we could just post our lightsaber fights that we were doing in between our classes and stuff and just say, hey, this will get a couple yucks out of people. Our goal was to get 50 subscribers. Then it became 100, and then it became 200. And it just kind of kept snowballing from there, and we started branching out into different stuff, and I kind of just fell into it because I enjoyed doing it. Was it hard to not have Cassius interact with many of the prequel/original trilogy characters? In a sense, yes. In another sense, no. Because I knew that I wanted to have Cassius' story while it was connected to the Skywalker saga, so he would have to have, interactions with certain characters from the movies. I also knew that a lot of these interactions that I said, hey, this could be fun to add in, a lot of them wouldn't have amounted to much. They wouldn't have made a lot of sense, and it would have just been adding them in there to say, hey, look, this character's in here. And it just wouldn't have benefited the story. So in some ways, yes, in some ways, no. How would Cassius react if he saw Obi-Wan during the time of Jedi Master? I think he'd be surprised that Obi-Wan survived, but, he'd be happy that he did. I can't say that he would have gone on any adventures with Obi-Wan or done anything like that. Obi-Wan had a mission and a goal, and that was to watch over Luke on Tatooine. I believe by this point, the events of the Kenobi show had already been completed, so Obi-Wan's on Tatooine again. He probably would have asked for some advice on training Liara, though. What does Star Wars mean to you? Star Wars to me is very difficult to explain what it means to me, but if I had to sum it up, Star Wars is a fun, escapist fantasy that can sometimes tie into our own lives. It can bring out some of the best and some of the worst in who we are. It can be hopeful, it can be grand, it can be small, it can be sad, it can be so much. It means so much to so many different people in so many different ways, and that's part of why I love it. What is your favorite Star Wars character from each trilogy? From the original trilogy, my favorite character is probably Luke Skywalker. From the prequel trilogy, definitely Obi-Wan Kenobi. From the sequels, Kylo Ren. As someone who's currently producing the first part of a fan story, what is the hardest part when making the Cassius story? The hardest part when making the Cassius story is coming up with the initial ideas for the stories of what you want to do, because your mind will fill in so many ideas, so many things you want to do, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, and you start trying to look for ways to cram as much in as possible, and the end result is just a messy, unfocused product. What you want to do is look at the character. What is their story? What is their goal? Focus on the characters first, then build the story around them. When you flesh out the characters, the story starts to build itself organically in many ways. Let's say your character is a bounty hunter. Well, you already know that your character is in a profession that's looked down on by a lot of people. He's going to be an outcast in many circles. So you already know he's got a tough time in his social life. That already gives you a lot to work with in terms of the story. So I'd say build the characters first. After you've got a good base for your characters and you know where you want to take them, where their story is going to lead, at that point, that's when you go into outlining. Outlining is one of the most useful practices when it comes to telling a story. I think it's essential. When you outline the major parts of a story and what's going to happen, it helps you tie everything else together naturally after the fact. I hope that helped. What is your favorite part about having this channel? My favorite part about having this channel, aside from, having a platform to, share my stories and my fan fictions and all that stuff, my favorite part is just being able to interact with other Star Wars fans, talk to my audience, really gauge how they are, what they feel, what they like, what they dislike, and just have conversations about that. That's one of my favorite things about this channel. How did you come up with the names for the characters in your stories? A lot of the names for the characters in my stories, I've mentioned before, Cassius Urshan. His original name was Escheron, and I never really came up with a last name for him. It was just Escheron. After that, I kind of got to reworking some of the names for the characters, and I decided Cassius needed a rework. And so I looked at the name I had, Escheron, and I shortened it to Urshan, and I said, well, that sounds a little bit more Star Warsy. And then it was around this time I was actually in college, and I was taking a couple theater classes, and we were looking at some of Shakespeare's works and heard about a character, Cassius, spelled differently, but the character's name was Cassius. And the more I thought about it, I combined Cassius and Urshan, and I thought, that's a Star Wars name right there. That's a Jedi name right there, Cassius Urshan. And I loved it, and I just kind of changed the spelling. Originally, it was Cassius Escheron, and then I kind of shortened Escheron to Urshan. And so it became Cassius Urshan. Other characters like Corbin Roth, I looked for a name that kind of sounded very, not so much masculine, but a very strong sounding name to me. And I thought a name like Corbin or Corbius, like something strong like that. And so Corbin, and then for some reason my mind started to drift to Rosh Pennon from the Jedi Academy games. I have no idea why. I'm like, well, we're not calling him Corbin Rosh. Corbin Roth. I like that. Corbin Roth. I like that name. And then other characters like Sabo and Rondo, Kala. A lot of these names were just kind of me just while working, just kind of spouting off some random gibberish in my head and seeing what sounded like names and what sounded like they would fit into Star Wars. So you can have a lot of fun coming up with different names for the different characters. And your final question, were there any scrapped ideas for the Cassius books? Yes, there were a couple scrapped ideas. There was an entire two scrapped books. One that was going to take place between Jedi Apprentice and Dawn of War, and one that was going to take place between Ashes of the Order and Jedi Redeemed. But both of these books, while they had some ideas that maybe I'll come back to and rework for something else in the future, didn't really add a whole lot to the story. So they were scrapped. There's a lot I could go into. I might do that in a separate video, but thank you for your questions. From Zack Attack. Well, first of all, congratulations. I'm extremely happy to see this community grow, and I hope it keeps getting bigger and bigger. Thank you very much. My first question was, how was your vacation? Where did you go? Did you have fun? I had a great vacation. I took some days off and I traveled to Colorado to see my family and see my nephew. Saw the Rocky Mountains, went to Georgetown, Colorado. Beautiful, beautiful area out there by a little lake right in the Rocky Mountains. Saw the Denver Zoo, had a great time. Thank you very much. My second question, if you had to choose 3 Star Wars YouTubers that you could collaborate with on a video, who are the 3 you would choose? That's difficult because there's so many out there. I think it would be fun to collaborate with Thor Skywalker on something. I've liked a lot of his content in the past. Elseworlds, I would say, but that's kind of a given. He's a friend of mine, so I'll say Star Wars Explained. I like how they just kind of keep everything just kind of general and upbeat on their channel. That's kind of the vibe I go with on mine. And if I had to pick a third, that's tough. Maybe I would. I know who I would want to do a collaboration with. Hello Greedo. Hello Greedo is one of my favorite YouTubers. Not even just Star Wars YouTubers. One of my favorite YouTubers. To do like just a podcast episode with him or something like that, that would be amazing. I would love to collab with Hello Greedo on something. Just shoot the shit for a while. Talk about space wizards. Love to do that. Last question. Let's say you are still doing YouTube and Concordia Jedi reaches 1 million subscribers. For such a special occasion, what would you do? That is a dream right there. I don't think Concordia Jedi is ever going to make it to 1 million subscribers. I've seen plenty of other YouTube channels out there, again, Hello Greedo being one of them, that channels like this deserve well over 1 million subscribers. They're just so great, and the more I look at it, I think if we made it to 1 million subscribers, outstanding, fantastic, that would be amazing. But at the same time, I don't really think that making it to 1 million subscribers should be my goal. I'm not in this game for the subscriber count. Obviously I do want to have more subscribers. I want to see my audience grow and my numbers rise, but that's not the end goal. The end goal is to just have a platform where I can tell my stories and talk about Star Wars with you guys. If we were to reach 1 million subscribers, I think I'd like to do a big old live stream, thanking people, maybe even do a charity live stream, get people donating to some good causes. And outside of that, maybe just do a whole new what if, maybe try to collaborate with some bigger channels and do something real special. Thank you for your questions. From Diamond360, congratulations on your achievement, my good sir. It is one well earned. 1. What has been your favorite thing about creating your channel? I feel like I've been asked this one before. My favorite thing about creating this channel was just, again, having this platform to talk with you guys and share this love of Star Wars that we all have. Outside of that, having a platform to, tell my Cassius stories is one of my favorite things I've done with this channel. 2, of everything you have done or created with your channel, what are you the most proud of? What has been the most fun? What has been the biggest success? I can answer that last one. The biggest success was definitely what if Vader survived Return of the Jedi. And yeah, you can see why I'm a little hesitant to talk about that one. Where's part 2? Where's part 3? All this stuff. But that is definitely the biggest success on the channel. And I'm very thankful that it was a big success because it was something I put a lot of work into. And that's the one that really helped jumpstart the channel. The one that was the most fun, that's a tough one. I'd say the most fun experience on the channel was probably writing out, or not writing out, but probably putting out the most depressing chapters of Cassius, like with me knowing what's going to happen and just waiting to see like, oh, this is going to be fun, see how people react. Those are probably the most fun. Even though writing the last chapter of Nightfall just kind of mentally and emotionally broke me because I'm like, I just killed off a lot of my characters. But yeah, those were the most fun, just kind of waiting to see what people's reactions would be, especially the last chapter of Ashes of the Order. That one, I was just constantly refreshing the comments like, oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. See what people say. What am I the most proud of? Definitely writing the Cassius books, because that was something I did. That was something that I'm very proud of, that I told a full 9-book story with, other works still in production. That's probably what I'm most proud of. Number 3, what are you looking forward to for the channel moving into the future? I'm looking forward to, kind of keeping things at a steady pace for the time being, but I'm looking forward to something coming around August, and you'll know it when you see it. Thank you for your questions. From TDAP. 1. If Cassius and Liara teamed up to fight Vader instead of Cassius, do you think they could have come out victorious? I assume you're talking about in Jedi Redeemed. I'm going to be honest. I don't think Liara was in a headspace where she would have been able to fight Vader. Even with Cassius there, I don't think they would be enough to stop him. And I think Cassius knew that too. That's why he told her to leave. He knew that even both of them weren't going to be enough to take on Vader. Number 2. How do you put out so much amazing content even though you still have a relatively small audience? In my opinion, your content deserves so much more attention. What pushes you forward? Congratulations on 11K. Well, thank you very much for the kind words. Again, I don't really look at the size of my audience so much as I do, the people that comment and, tell me what they enjoyed about my videos or what they didn't enjoy, and just kind of interacting with people. What pushes me forward is that I love Star Wars. I love telling my stories, and I love interacting with other Star Wars fans. That's That's the main reason this channel exists, is to have this platform where I can cultivate this community of like-minded Star Wars fans and we can all just talk to each other. Thank you for your questions. From Leo Romer. The blade color of Rey's new lightsaber in the finale of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker was revealed to be yellow. If the redeemed Ben Solo had survived and built a new lightsaber for himself, what blade color do you think it would produce and why? I think part of me says it would probably still be blue, but I also think it could be really cool to have it be a green lightsaber, kind of harkening back to Luke's Return of the Jedi saber. I think that would be a cool color. I think either blue or green. Thank you for your question. From Crusader. How did you first get into Star Wars? How did I first get into Star Wars? My parents probably showed me the original trilogy a couple times when I was very little. And, I just kind of kept getting into it and watching it more and more. And, saw a couple of them on the big screen. I had the toys and I just kind of naturally fell into Star Wars. I really gravitated towards it and I loved it. Thank you for your question. From Jakey the Watcher. Have you watched the YouTube channel Get Sleaze? And if so, what do you think about them? I do not believe that I have. Maybe I'll have to check them out. From Craig's Corner. When's Vader part... Yeah, think better on that. What I mean to say was, what are project... Work on your grammar. What I mean to say was, what projects are you looking forward to the most in the coming time with Star Wars? I'm really, I'm enjoying The Acolyte right now, so I'm looking to see where that goes. For future projects, the new Jedi Order movie, the Rey movie, I'm looking forward to that. I'd say the one I'm most interested in is the Dawn of the Jedi movie. I really want to see how that turns out because that literally gives us so many directions to go in with telling the story of, the earliest Jedi. That's what I'm super excited for. Thank you all for your questions. Thank you all for 11,000 subscribers, and we'll see you next time.